In the shadowed corridors of an ancient prison, where the scent of damp stone clung to every wall, a young man named Rehan awaited his final dawn. He was just 19, barely a man, but fate had already written a cruel verdict across his life. The other inmates called him Prisoner 917, but to me he was something more than a number. My name is Farha Ansari. For 20 years, I had walked these halls as a lady inspector, my heart hardened by the endless parade of criminals and tragedies. Yet whenever my eyes met Rehan's, something deep within me stirred, a quiet, painful question I could never silence. Could he really deserve to die so young? He rarely spoke, as if every word cost him too much to part with. His silence wasn't defiance, it felt more like surrender. Sometimes I would catch him staring at the cold bars with a look that could shatter any woman's heart. The look of a boy who had known too little love and too much loss. No one knew exactly what he thought in those endless nights when the world forgot him. All we knew was that in 2 days he would climb the steps to the gallows, and the law would declare its work done. The morning before the execution, the prison superintendent summoned me to his dimly lit office. His voice was heavy as he handed me the official document authorizing Rehan's last wish. Every condemned soul was given this small mercy, a single request before death. Sometimes it was a final meal, sometimes a meeting with family. But nothing prepared us for the wish Rehan would whisper into that cold, echoing silence. When I entered his cell, I forced myself to meet his gaze. "Rehan," I said softly, "your time is near. If there is anything at all, that your heart longs for, you must tell me now." He lifted his head, and for the first time in all those months, I saw his eyes glisten. His voice was barely a breath as he replied, "Madam, there is one wish, one only. I want to marry. I want to feel, if only for a single night, that I was loved." I felt my throat tighten. No prisoner had ever asked for such a thing. "Marry?" I repeated, unable to keep the astonishment from my tone. He nodded with a strange calm, as though he had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. "Announce in the mosque," he continued, "that if any woman is willing to marry me, willing to be my bride for a single night, I will die with peace in my heart." My hands trembled as I escorted him to the superintendent's office. The SP, a stern man rarely given to sentiment, fell silent when he heard Rehan's request. For a moment, it seemed he too saw the boy behind the crime. Finally he exhaled, shaking his head. "Son, who would marry you now? Who would bind her life to yours when you have only hours left?" Rehan's reply came without hesitation. "Just make the announcement," he said. "If no one comes, I will accept it. But if there is a woman somewhere whose heart understands mine, she will come." Later that afternoon, the loudspeakers of the mosque crackled to life, broadcasting a message that would echo through the village streets and into the hearts of hundreds. Rehan Khan, sentenced to die, seeks a bride willing to share his last night in this world. Most of us believed it was a futile plea, an impossible dream of a doomed soul. But as dusk fell and the shadows grew long across the prison yard, a guard came running to my office. His face was pale, his breath ragged with disbelief. "Madam," he stammered, "there is a girl, she has come to marry the prisoner." I felt my heartbeat stutter as I rose from my chair. Under the waning orange sky, I saw her, a slender figure in a crimson bridal veil, clutching the hand of a religious scholar. She looked no older than 17, but her steps never faltered. The SP himself came out to meet her. "Child," he demanded, his voice half pity, half outrage, "do you understand what you are doing?" She lifted her veil just enough to reveal a pair of tearful but resolute eyes. "I understand," she said. "I have come of my own will. He is not just a condemned man to me. He is the keeper of my heart." No one could argue with a woman who had made her choice. With a solemn ritual, the Malvi opened his worn leather register, and by lamplight Rehan Khan and the mysterious girl, Nazia, were joined in sacred vows. When the ceremony ended, Rehan turned to me with an almost shy smile. "Madam, as you promised, let me have this night with my bride." His words were gentle, but something in them felt heavy, as if he carried a secret none of us could see. As I locked them into the cell together, a chill swept over me. For a moment, it seemed the darkness itself was listening, waiting for something I could not name. I returned to my office, but the silence of the prison felt different, thicker, almost alive. And in that hush, my mind would not stop whispering, "What have we just done?" And so began the longest night of my life. The hours after the wedding moved slowly, like a dream that refused to end. I tried to distract my mind with paperwork, but the thought of Rehan and that fragile girl behind the locked cell door haunted me. What did they speak about in those dark hours when no one could hear? Was it love that held them close, or a plan none of us had guessed? From time to time, I rose and walked the silent corridor, listening. Once, I heard Nazia's soft voice, murmuring words I couldn't quite catch. Another time, I thought I heard the click of metal on stone, but when I pressed my ear to the iron bars, all was still. My heart told me something was wrong, yet I forced myself to believe that they simply wanted to share a few stolen hours of tenderness before the end. How cruel it felt to deny them even that. At dawn, I returned to my office to rest. Sleep did not come easily. My mind replayed every moment: Rehan's quiet despair, Nazia's unwavering gaze, the solemn vows spoken under the flickering lantern light. Again and again I asked myself, what could drive a girl so young to bind her life to a man marked for death? Was it desperation? Madness? Or love pure enough to defy even the hangman's rope? The morning bell had only just tolled when the superintendent came storming into my office. His face was pale with anger, his voice shaking as he demanded, "Where is prisoner 917? Startled, I rose to my feet. "Sir, he must be in the cell," I stammered. But even as I spoke the words, my heartbeat quickened. A terrible knowing settled into my bones. Together, we raced down the corridor, our footsteps echoing in the cold hush of dawn. I reached the cell door first, calling Rehan's name with a tightness in my chest I could not explain. No answer came. My fingers shook as I pulled open the viewing slot. Inside, a figure lay curled beneath a coarse blanket, clad in prison uniform, the back turned to us. Relief mixed with confusion. Why would he not rise? "Open it," the SP ordered, his voice low and dangerous. I unlocked the heavy door, my breath ragged. The figure did not stir. With trembling hands, I turned the body toward me, and the world tilted in a way I will never forget. It was not Rehan. Beneath the blanket lay Nazia, her bridal veil gone, her slender form dressed now in the coarse gray shirt of a prisoner. Her eyes fluttered open, meeting mine with a calm I could not comprehend. The SP's roar shook the stone walls. "Where is Rehan?" But Nazia did not flinch. Her voice was soft as a prayer. "Gone." The next moments blurred into chaos, guards shouting, keys rattling, the superintendent's curses filling the air. But I could only stare at the girl who had traded everything for this single, impossible act. As the realization dawned, Rehan had walked out of this prison in Nazia's bridal clothes. My knees weakened. He had been right. If there was a heart in this world that would understand him, it would come. We questioned Nazia for hours. She did not cry. She did not plead. Her gaze was steady, her hands folded in her lap. She told us everything, and nothing. "He is not just a condemned man," she whispered. "He is my promised one. I will wait for him however long it takes." The superintendent was beside himself with rage. "You helped a fugitive escape," he shouted. "You will spend years behind bars for this treachery." Nazia only lowered her gaze. "It was never treachery," she said softly. "It was justice." Unable to bear the suspense any longer, I asked the question that had haunted me since that first night. "Was it true, Nazia? Did you really love him? Or was this only a plan to save his life?" For the first time, her eyes shimmered with tears. "Both," she whispered. "If you had known him as I did, if you had seen how he fought to protect my sister, how he risked everything to save us from those men, you would understand. He did not kill for greed. He was killed because no one else would defend our honor. But in this world, a poor man's courage is called a crime." In that moment, I felt something break inside me, a barrier I had built through years of duty and discipline. Perhaps it was a pity. Perhaps it was something deeper, some unspoken bond between women who have watched the men they love destroyed by forces they cannot fight. Days passed. News of Rehan's escape spread like wildfire through the city. Some called him a criminal mastermind. Others whispered that it was destiny itself that had opened the prison gates. But even as search parties scoured the countryside, Nazia remained unshaken. Each time I looked into her eyes, I saw a faith that defied reason. Then one rainy evening word came that would change everything. A renowned lawyer had arrived at the prison gates, his coat soaked through from the storm. He carried a thick sheaf of papers and a grim determination in his gaze. "I have come to present evidence," he announced. "Evidence that will prove Rehan Khan is innocent of the charges that condemned him." And as the lawyer began to recount the truth, the threats, the break-in, the night of blood and broken glass, I felt the world tilt again. Every word was a blade, cutting away the lies we had been told. Rehan had never been a cold-blooded killer. He had been a protector, a brother, a man who chose honor over fear. The courtroom became a battleground. Witnesses were called. Documents were unveiled. At last, the judge declared what Nazia had always believed. Rehan Khan was innocent. The sentence of death was revoked. And in that moment, the prison walls that had held so much despair seemed almost to sigh with relief. Days later, Rehan returned, not in disguise but with head held high. When he stepped across the threshold, Nazia rose to meet him. For the first time there was no fear between them. No iron bars. Only the unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of their shared ordeal. Some stories fade with time. Others remain etched into the soul. Even now, when I close my eyes, I see them standing together, hands clasped, as though the darkness itself had bent to let their love pass through. And when people ask me if true love still exists in this world, I think of them, and I say yes. Because sometimes, love is not just a feeling. It is a revolution. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that love can conquer even the darkest trials, let us know in the comments below. Share your thoughts. Do you think Rehan and Nazia deserved their second chance? We read every single comment and your voice matters to us. If you feel the power of their story, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who still believes in true love, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss more unforgettable tales of courage, destiny, and devotion. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because every week, we bring you stories that will stay with you long after the video ends. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes love is not just a feeling, it is a revolution.